This is Jim with BikeFixTips.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about a little tip that I learned about these Hayes Stroker ride type disc brakes. There's a pin that holds the brake pads between the calipers and the disc and keeps the pads from falling out when you're out riding. Well, this pin, sometimes it strips out. It has a Torx fitting, and they strip out if you tighten them down too much and you try to loosen it. Sometimes they will strip out like mine did. What I was able to do is use a pair of vice grips, tighten it down right at the bolt, twist it off, and it breaks it loose. Then at that point you can unscrew the bolt and pull it out. You probably don't want to use it once it's stripped. You can go to the local bike shop and see if they have any spare parts for this, but when I went to check for it at my local bike shop, they didn't have any replacement parts, so they advised that I use a cotter pin instead in its place. And I found a cotter pin. It's the same width as the pin, and it's a little bit longer than the pin because you need to account for the bending back of the cotter pin so it can stay in place. Another, I think, is a bad engineering idea for this particular pin is it has this little clip thing on the other end of this bolt. So let's say it does back off, that pin usually keeps it in place from backing out and falling off. Only problem is those clips are really easy to break off, or I mean they just slip right off. And so that's what happened to mine. Mine ended up backing out on the way to work. My brake pads both fell out, and I noticed I didn't have brakes one day. So when I got home, I had to replace the brake pads. Find a cotter pin like I found here, stick it in its place, and what you want to do, you want to keep the eye on the outside of the brake pad, because this eye will conflict with the spokes if you had it pointing outwards. So point it towards the inside and bend the cotter pin back on itself, usually in this valley right here, and that will keep it out of the way of the spokes and you're ready to ride again, and those brake pads will slide freely over the cotter pin itself, and it fixes the problem, and you don't have to find another one of these bolts to replace it, and you don't have to replace your whole set of brakes just because of this silly bolt. Anyways, hopefully that'll help you if you do run across this situation.